Hello, good evening, everyone. For our prayer meditation or for our meditation tonight, allow me to share with you a reflection on First Peter 4, 7, 8, and 9. And this is a reflection that I've listened to over a week ago, I think, or the other week. And I just would like to share this with you. So I find this kind of appropriate for this evening. So let's read, Let's read First Peter 4, 7 to 9. And maybe we will just take some few verses here, and let us be encouraged with the word of the Lord, for this evening. But the end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be serious and watchful in your prayers. Verse 8, and above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. Be hospitable, according to verse 9, to one another without grumbling. So it's a passage on the writings of Apostle Peter. And I believe this is a timely thing as well for most of us, because we've heard of this word, end of all things. So we are now on the end times. I think all of us have heard that. We've been listening that over a long time. Even when I was young, when I was still very, very young in the church, I hear this message already. End of all things. And don't you know that when Peter said this, it's already way back 2,000 years ago, when he says this first line, that the end of all things is at hand. So, ano ginibala? What is this end of all things, or what is this end times? So maybe we can think of that. And I believe a lot of people have quoted saying that maybe in 100 years the Lord will return. And and many of them have said that maybe way back in the 1500s, and that's hundreds of years back. And then again, considering what Peter says, but what is this thing that we consider end of all things? We can probably think of that now if we are familiar with a basketball game, that we understand that when they say that it is the last quarter, which is probably 15 minutes away from ending the game, that last quarter that they are talking about is not really 15 minutes in actuality, but that's just 15 minutes of the play time. So the play time, if the ball is in the court, then they will run the time. But you'll notice that there's always this pause. There's this thing that you see on TV, a lot of advertisements that will go on, a lot of stops. And again, every time the ball is in the court, they will run the clock game. But it does not mean that 15 minutes, when you say 15 minutes, that after 15 minutes, everybody goes home. Maybe that 15 minutes could stretch to 30 and even up to 40 minutes in actual time. So maybe similar to that idea of a game, we are on the end game. And when God started with his creation, the dispensation of the creation of God, when God gave the law, when God gave his grace, we are now living on the end times. There's no more dispensation that will come. But that end times is not short. So the end times is not short. So we are now in the end times. And what is the warning of Paul for us during this end of times? Therefore, be serious, according to Paul, and watchful in your prayers. And we will see that these words, serious and watchful, maybe he could think of a time when he was there in the Garden of Gethsemane, when Jesus asked them to stay with him even for just an hour. But they were not able to do that, of course. They were so tired, and they simply slept. They slept their evening without kneeling down and spending time, no, prayer and watching, no, in prayer with the Lord. No? So how important is prayer in our life? No? Ano ginibala ang prayer ngayon? So our prayer, ladies and gentlemen, no, we will see that it's some kind of a key. You know, we notice that when we don't pray, nothing really is achieved. No, there are things that we plan to do, no, and if we miss our prayer time, no, it's just like the password of a program, an app, no, in our cell phone. That if you miss the password there, you'll never accomplish the task there. No? So here's one question: no? What place does prayer have in your life now? No? Ano bala ang lugar sang prayer sa aton kabuhi? No? Do we do it seriously? No? Do we have a watchful time in our prayer time? Now, just the other day, I think, no, I was awoken, no, early morning, at around 3 past 3 in the morning, and what I did, no, I don't usually do that, but during that time, I spent almost an hour, no, crying before the Lord, no, in prayer, no, and maybe, no, those are things that I miss doing for some time, no, that we forgot to be intentional and serious in our prayer with our God, no. Maybe no, we could see that when we were younger, when we were born again, no, early, you know, and very young, and our love for the Lord is so fervent, no, that we could go on, no, for some weeks, no, of praying, go on fasting, no. But lately, we notice that our prayer life has become professional. Our prayer life now has become a routine. No? So, are we going through the motions, no? So, ang aton balang pagpangabuhi, no? Or pagpangamuyo, no? Do parehas lang sang isa ka activity nato, no? Is it just similar to our activity, no? Pero ang aton tagipuson wala dira, no? Now we are reminded sa Revelation, I think in Revelation 2, when the church in Ephesus was told by God, no, that God holds them, no, for one thing, that they have left their first love, no. They've left their first love, no. Wala man siya ginambal nga, you lost your first love, no. You left your first love. Ano na ang left? Ano na ang ginbiyaan mo ang imong first love sa Ginoo? Maybe, no. It's a slow process, no. It's not a similar to a blowout sa aton tire sa aton salakyan nga hindi na din magdalagan. It's a slow leak, no. Ang pagbiya naton sa paghigugma naton sa Ginoo. It's a slow leak, and eventually, no, our car will no longer run because naubos na ang hangin sa iya tire, no. And again, no, that's what we can probably think of our prayer. Now, another way that we can think of this love and our devotion in our prayer is maybe, you know, something like a people, no, people that we see, no. So nagligad lang nga si Mana, may ara kita nga Valentine's Day, no. Siguro kung may mga naga-date dira nga nakita nato, no. So we will see a lot of people that are dating. You will always know kung married sila nga mga couples or naga-date pa lang na sila, no. Kaya nga aman, no. What is our measure kuno, no? How do you know that they are still dating or they are already married? Kaya ang mga married kuno wala naga-istoryahan na, so paglabay mo sa isa ka table, ini married ni sila, ina sa piyak, no. They are dating, no. Kay ang ilang nga pag-istoryahan ay tam-an gid ka intense, no. Okay, lawig-lawig ka na pag-istoryahan ay, no. So something amo na, no. Remember the time when you were courting, no? Sa courtship period ka mo, no? You will stay, no, with your loved one, no, with your engaged boyfriend or your boyfriend, no, pag bilog nga gabi na, no, nga istoryahan na ida, no, kamulang ang mabatian sang iban, no, nga naga-istoryahan na isang maskin late na kaayo, no. So amo na ang paghigugma, no. So let prayer fuel your relationship and devotion to the Lord, no. So let's not leave, no, let's not have, no, our love, no, abiyaan naton sa Ginoo, no. Let's not do that, no. Okay, now another one, no, another point that I would like to mention here is this thing about loving. No? So we will just mention about two things. So in verse 8, and above all things, no, have fervent love for one another. No? For love will cover a multitude of sins. No? Be hospitable, not to one another without grumbling. No? So ano ining above all things, no? Have fervent love, no? Ano ini, no? So Jesus, no? Jesus followers, no? Ginahambalan kita, love should not be relegated to emotions or sentiment lang, no? So paano ining above all things? So siguro sa mga bagay nga ginahimo naton, among the things that we are doing, although we've mentioned the importance of prayer already, no? So among the things as Christians, ang pinaka-top gid kuno sa aton listahan, no, should be loving, no? Loving people, no? Loving a circle of people, no? May ara gid na nga lapit sa aton circle of influence, no? And those are the ones, no, nga pwede naton mahigugma, no? So ano ni ang word nga fervently, no? Fervently. Fervently is a word ko nga daw strenuously, no? Stretching, no? Siguro sa China subong may ara kitang Olympics nga ginahiwat nga Olympics kaga mga athletes dira naga-strain gid, no, nga magdaog, no? Kung magdalagan sila, hindi lang kay dalagan nga natural, no, pero ang ila tiil gina-stretch gina nila strenuously ang ila ginaobra. Kung may ara da nga kabayo nga naga-race, no, kung maglukso na siya ang kabayo nagalukso nga gina-stretch ang bilog yang lawas. So that's the kind of love, no, that Paul or Peter is telling us, no, to do, no, fervently, no, to strain like an athlete, no, or an Olympian nga gusto gid magdaog, no. We will be an Olympian or a champion of loving, no. So these are two things, no, that I would like to remind us all, no, sini nga gabi, to be fervent, to be serious, no, and watchful in our prayer, as this text is telling us, no, and in loving one another, no, in a circle of people where we are given the chance to love one another. So if there are faults nga makita naton sa isa ko, no, takluban naton, no. So instead of broadcasting the fault, no, of somebody else, no, let love cover that fault, no. If we are offended, no, let love cover that offense, no. And not like, no, nga i-fight out mo lang siya, no. As Christians, we are told, no, we are reminded by Peter, no, to love, no, one another, and this love that kind of recover, no, that covers, no, a multitude of sin, no. Now in verse 9 is a word hospitable, and hospitable ko na dire, no, is a word that is loving strangers, no. Now when we love strangers, hindi lang ang aton nga mga circles of friends ang aton ginahigugma, but even we make our circle of influence a little bit more bigger, no. Gina-include naton ang iban, no. Ginapasulod naton sila, no. So we'll make that circle of influence, no, a little bit more bigger and wider, no, to include those that are not within it, no, so that they can be reached by our love for the Lord. So for tonight, no, I hope, no, that we are encouraged by these words, and thank you and God bless to all of us, no.